You're welcome back. This is Firecrackers. Well, let's get talking now as we pay attention to the COVID-19 pandemic and, of course, some pressing issues and issues of national interest as regards the COVID-19 vaccines, as well as the issue of passports or COVID-19 certificates. Joining us live from Ibadan, the Yosi capital, is a virologist, Professor Oyewale Tomori. He joins us live tonight on the program. Thank you so much, Prof, for coming on the program. All right, Prof, let's begin with, for starters, the COVID-19 passports. It's been tagged different names, COVID-19 passports, COVID-19 documents, COVID-19 certificates. You don't seem too comfortable with these tags or names. Why is that so?
We've got vaccine cards before. We had yellow fever vaccination. And when you go out, they tell you, bring your yellow card. So why are you calling this one passport now? I mean, there's a system already. You have a yellow card for traveling, so this should be COVID card, not COVID passport. Yeah, that's the point I'm making. I hope you can hear me. Did you hear me?
All right. Well, I'm not sure I got you very clearly, but let's move on now. The question to also ask is just how important or how essential is the COVID passport or card in the fight against the pandemic or virus?
I think it's just like it did when we did with yellow fever. It's both a protection for the person and to the country you are going to. For example, when you get the yellow card, it's assured that if you are going to a country that has yellow fever, you are protected. Or if you are going to a country that does not have, they want to be sure that you two are not bringing yellow fever to their country. So it works both ways. When you have the vaccine, there's an assurance that you are protected and that you're not going to transmit the disease to somebody else in another country. So, like I said, I think it is needed. We did it for yellow fever, so I don't see what is so exciting or different in dealing with COVID.
And Prof, are we gradually getting to a phase where these cards, a COVID card, or COVID passport or documents will become indispensable, where there'll be restrictions in movement or travel when you don't have or you can't provide such evidence?
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, like I keep saying, it's nothing new. It's nothing new. It's been done before with yellow fever. So why are we getting unnecessarily excited about this one? I mean, you can't, in certain parts of the world, you cannot travel if you don't have your yellow card. So what's strange about this one? I don't say anything. I mean, I'm surprised that people are getting so unnecessarily hitched up about COVID card or COVID, whatever you call it. If you did it for yellow fever, why can't you do it for this? It's the same protection we're trying to do for everybody. Like I said earlier on, when you have it, it is an evidence that you're not carrying the disease, and also an evidence that if you get to that country, you're not going to get the disease. So it's both protecting you and protecting the country that you're going to. So it's a win-win situation as far as I'm concerned.
All right, Prof. Let's shift attention now to other issues here in Nigeria. Just before we get your reactions to the vaccination program or exercise across states in Nigeria, the question to ask is, why has the nation not been able to produce a vaccine yet? Why has the continent not been able to produce a vaccine just yet? We keep looking out for the Johnson & Johnson jab. We keep looking out for vaccines from China, from US and AstraZeneca and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's expected, isn't it? When you don't spend your money on important things, that's what you get. I mean, how long have we been having epidemics and diseases in Africa? And we keep waiting for outsiders to solve the problem for us. I mean, COVID became a major thing because it's global. I mean, how long have we had Lassa fever in the country, and what has our government done about it? What action are we taking? Even the yellow fever that is all over the place, what action has the government taken? These are the issues. When you don't care about yourself, you're in a position where you are. And we are right now waiting and begging. We don't even know when the next dosage is going to come. So we can't even plan. And that's what happens to people who will not take care of the important things of their life. If Nigeria had over all these years, I mean, we were producing vaccines before, what happened to us? So we deteriorated and our situation went bad, and so we're paying for those things. That's what is happening. And I keep getting a bit unhappy when many people blame the Western world for what it is. They put their money into what is useful for them, and they are reaping the benefits. They took the gamble and put money into science and research, and they are reaping the benefit. And we are a consuming nation. So what are we complaining about? Until we make up our mind to do the right things, then we continue to complain. I think this COVID thing should be an eye-opener for us, that for the next one that is coming, that we get ourselves prepared, not waiting again to wring our neck and begging when these things are coming. What are we doing with our money? These are the questions that we should be asking ourselves, and not blaming the Western world for hoarding, what they call it, hoarding the vaccines.
Before we begin to wind down our conversations with you tonight, the question to also ask is, have we even invested in research institutions enough? And then closely to that question is the fact that I'll need you to respond to some of the reactions from many Nigerians, especially here in the country. The president, the #1 citizen, is out of the country right now on a 2-week medical trip for routine checkup. How are you responding to such news? We also understand that the doctors, the National Association of Resident Doctors, are also on strike as it stands right now. But Mr. President is out of the country.
Well, first of all, on whether we've invested in research enough, we have not. We have not, and it's been going on since our independence. We have not invested in research. We have not invested in technology, and that's why we're paying for where we are. Now, as to our president going overseas again, it's the same story we're telling about. In a nation that has been independent for 60 years, cannot have the hospital to treat its own president. That's part of the national security we're talking about. We're leaving the life and the hand of our country, of our president, in the hands of outsiders. A government that is up to what it should be doing should have addressed these issues for a long time ago. The president didn't just come in. He's been here for the last 5, 6, 7 years as president, isn't he? I mean, if he did it the first time, he shouldn't do it in the second time. I mean, by now, something concrete should have been done. Not waiting to go overseas for this type of thing. And see what is happening. Even the doctors you have here, they're on strike because you're not paying them their dues. You're not taking good care of them. And of course, why will you? I mean, I think the president is wise. He doesn't want to leave himself in the hand of people he's not paying. So he goes to a place where he can get better treatment. But why should that happen in a country that has been independent for 60 years? I mean, these are the questions we need to keep asking ourselves. And we must never stop talking about it until we find a solution.
All right, Prof. Just maybe one or two final questions before we let you go. What's your position on the vaccination program across many parts of the country right now? I mean, we understand how unique Nigeria is geographically, especially those are the rural areas, the hinterlands. But how would you rate a level of performance as regards to the vaccination exercise in the first phase of it?
I think the first thing to look at is that when you have no control over how much vaccines you get, then your planning becomes subject to outsiders. And that's the first problem we have. But now we've got 4 million doses, and we're checking on the performance. Some states are doing very well. Some are not. I mean, there's even one state that's not even started at all, and that's Kogi State. They said they have no cold store or whatever. Cold store was destroyed according to them during the NSAS. And that's again the point we're saying. Countries must take the important things of life must be taken with speed and action. Those things were destroyed when? I mean, when was the SARS thing? Was October, November? It's now 3, 4, 6 months, and still haven't repaired that thing. It shows you how serious we are as a nation. Kogi should not be talking about the fact that this thing was destroyed in October and then it's not ready in March. That's number one. There are some of the states, they started very late. They knew when the vaccines were coming. It took some days, took like 2 weeks before they even started rolling out. And look at the figures that we're getting. You know, the MPHCD puts out these figures regularly. And some, I mean, more than half of the states have not even reached the 50% of their targets. What's happening? These are the questions that we should be asking. There are things that we, of course, it could be to part of the people that there's a hesitance on the side of the problem. But also we are seeing that some of the treatment, the health workers in some other places are not doing the right thing. I mean, when you are entitled to get something and you get there and wait for it, and then it goes on, people about the stories about hoarding and all those kind of things. This is not the time when self-interest should override national interest. Everyone involved in this should look at it as a national interest and work with it. So, as the question is, I don't think we're doing well enough. We could do better than we're doing. But then again, I mean, recently, I'm not too sure what the situation with the government is. The government is saying, initially I heard that you had to wait for 12 weeks to get your second dose. Now I'm hearing that there's some story about having to deal with 50% of the cases before you continue again. That is what happens to you when you have no control of when your vaccines will come in. We don't know when the next batch is coming. We don't know how soon it's coming. We don't know how much is coming. These are the things where you cannot plan properly. And that's the problem we have in our country. I think it's time for us to get out of this dependency. Life depends on it, out of this dependency on foreigners. This time, we'll be saying it again and again. If we are not ready for this COVID, Nigeria must take advantage of this COVID thing to prepare for the next one. We don't know when it is coming, but we shouldn't catch us as we have caught us now. It's so painful, you know, particularly when you grew up in a generation when this country was producing vaccine before. What happened to us? These are questions we should be asking each other. These are questions we must be asking each other, and we must find answers to those questions.
Mr. Tomori, very sad indeed. Just before we let you go, Prof, there are also talks about the Nigerian variant of the virus. Help us understand what you know about the Nigerian variant of the virus and just how dangerous is the Nigerian variant.
So far, we don't have any evidence that the Nigerian virus is use the word, more dangerous than what is done. The virus that has a problem with the vaccine, which is the South African one, we still don't have it yet in Nigeria, but we don't know whether it is there. I think, again, we need to improve laboratory testing. We need to ensure that, you know, we do it in more timely manner. I mean, checking all those isolates as quickly as possible to discover the variants we have. We have a few laboratories in different parts of Nigeria that are working on this, but I think we're not working enough. And why we're not working enough, it requires the support of everybody. Transporting samples from one lab to another requires money. These are areas where I think government should increase the funding to our laboratories, ensure that these samples are taken out on a timely basis so that we can get real-time information. For us to start detecting variants 6 months after it arrived in Nigeria is of no use to anybody. As soon as those variants, as soon as the virus is isolated, we should be able to map out those variants as quickly as possible and advise the government. But if we are waiting for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months before we know that the variant is in the country, it will have spread all over the country before we so it will be like what I call MAD, medicine after death.
Just one final question. There are talks about a possible third wave of the virus, especially across Europe. Any possibility of having the third wave of the virus in Nigeria and in Africa?
No, nothing is impossible. I mean, this situation is what happened in Europe. The situation is in place here. For example, so long as there are still many people who maybe have not been infected, and we are refusing to use those non-pharmaceutical interventions and now go outside. Everybody has kind of abandoned masks and things of that nature. So now there's 1, 2, 3 cases occurring. There's a possibility of that virus spreading again. And the reason why variants come is that they are multiplying in human beings. So as long as they are spreading in the human population, variants will come. And so if the third wave comes, I won't be surprised. And I think we better prepare, you know, just in case it comes. Because it is likely to come. If it's happening in Europe, why can't it happen here? It's the same situation. The people are not, people are not doing the right things, you know, about protecting themselves with their mask and all that, or other things. And so long as we continue to not to take care of those ones, this third wave can and it should be expected.
Professor Tomori, I guess that's a good place to anchor our conversation tonight. We'd like to thank you most kindly, Professor Oyewale Tomori, virologist live from Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Thank you so much for agreeing to speak with Galaxy TV.
Thank you, Kelly. It was my pleasure.